Good evening and welcome to week 9 live setup guide with myself, the LuckyBotter, on SwiftSole's YouTube channel and going through the setup of SwiftSole. As you know, this week is another kind of not so hyped week, I guess, and that's quite prevalent in regards to how many people are watching, like what we've been getting on these kind of brick weeks. However, I do think there are a couple of items that could potentially have some resale, and also there is some cool history or provenance behind the brand of South2 West8 that Supreme is actually partnering with. And it's actually quite a cool collaboration, I believe. And for some people out there who are collectors of Supreme or really follow the other brand, because there is a cult following with South2 West8, I do think there is some resale there for some items. Not that much, though, unfortunately, and the retails are quite high. But we will go into it. How's it going, Nova Creps? How you doing? I see you all the time. Hello, Dan Holmes. How are you? So we are obviously going to be looking at exactly the drop list. We're going to be looking at what's being dropped, etc. You guys can ask some questions, and we'll just see what goes on as we go along. So first and foremost, I hope you guys hit last week. If you went for anything, wasn't really much. It was a summer tease, of course. It might have been some stuff that you wanted to go for personal, but if you're looking at the current trends from last week, the resale analysis just isn't there. There's not much resale, in all honesty. Hello, Sam. How are you, sir? Yeah, what's happening in Sneaks and Windows? I was waiting for Air Forces that didn't drop. Yes, Dan, we did see that. I thought they were meant to be dropping every single week. That was what Supreme said, and drops by Jay. Maybe they got it wrong. Free up Nova Creps on the gram. Listen, if I have blocked you either on Instagram or Twitter, I can't remember why, but it was probably for good reason, so you're going to stay blocked. Simple as that. Cool. All right, what's happening, Jonathan? Mr. Engineer, let's bring up the phone, and we can go through this week's drop list, resale, retail, etc., etc. So, first and foremost, we'll go through the exact same menu that we always do. Then I'll give an idea on how to create tasks and whatnot going from there. So, first and foremost, looking at this South2 West8. Now, South2 West8 is a cult brand that originated from, I believe it was Tokyo or Japan, and this was back in 2006, and there is a big following. They're kind of like an urban outdoor fashion brand. That's how they would class themselves: biking, fishing, hiking, all that sort of stuff. And actually, their clothes are very high quality, and it's kind of on the high end of outdoor clothing. If you think about, I don't know, if you was to say North Face is here, this brand is above them in regards to retail quality, etc. Now, it's not expedition gear. I'm not talking about North Face's expedition, but fleeces, coats, Gore-Tex, etc. This brand honestly does have a higher provenance and a big cult following. Now, the actual range that they've been going through is a fly fishing range. Basically, where they originated from, fly fishing was very, very prevalent. It's something that's always been done, I guess, on the island that it originated from. And this is called the Tenkara method. So it's fly fishing. Simple as that. And Tenkara basically means, I think, from the heaven or the sky. Something like that. And the idea is that it's very minimalistic. That's the type of fishing. So if you have a look at the fishing rod, for instance, a lot of people are saying it's not a good quality rod. Fly fishing and Tenkara method fishing isn't necessarily meant to be good quality. It's meant to be very minimal, very easy, aiming for the fish inside of the water. Yes, I've done a bit of fly fishing in the past. It's actually quite cool. It's quite therapeutic, and it's quite frustrating at the same time. Will I be donning this in my fly fishing expedition? Do you know what? If I was a recreational fly fisher or someone that did fly fishing for a hobby, I'd rock it. I would rock it. And there is a personal piece, 2 personal pieces in this that I am going to go for that I'll explain to you guys. Anyway, let's go on to this week's drop. So first and foremost, we have, of course, the fishing rod. Now, that's high retail, right? Like a high retail. Would I recommend you go for this? I have no idea. I'm not going for that. $450 for the sake of getting maybe $20, not for me. However, this clock is looking a bit decent. I do like that clock. I think that's an easy hit. Not an easy hit, but I think that's an easy flip. It's an easy thing to go for, and it should have some resale. Obviously not in the places like StockX. You need to look at places like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Depop. Put it on there ASAP as soon as you hit confirmation email and get that sold quick time. But for someone's, I don't know, desk or shelves or drawer, it is a cool piece. It's a marathon clock. It's a cool accessory, in all honesty. It is a cool accessory. Then we go on to the main drops here. So the bags or the side bags may have some resale. I don't know, in the UK, I think side bag vibe is kind of gone. However, festival season is coming upon us. And don't get me wrong, that kind of purpley colour is quite cool. What people would wear it with, I have no idea. Camp cap, absolutely not. Bush tulip hat, no. Jungle hat. Interestingly, I have 2 friends that I went away with before the first lockdown that we actually went fishing. And I showed them all these pieces. And they love that jungle hat for fishing, which is quite cool. Would they pay more than the $70 retail on it? Probably not, but they did like it. The Bush Parker, $370, no resale there. The Bush Vest, which you should match with the Parker if you're going fly fishing, $220, not really anything there. I quite like the fleece. I really like it, but I think the black and white one has just got too much going on. It's too garish. I think if they would have minimalized the amount of the monograms and the design that they did, it would have been quite cool, but I think they've overdone it. I really think they've overplayed it. The River Trek jacket is a very good piece. Like, that is a really good piece. I think 2 years ago, you know, when anyone would just buy any Supreme piece that was out there and rock it out on the street. I don't know if those days are up now. They probably are. The full suit you probably would have seen that on Instagram straight after the drop for fit pics for a load of YouTubers out there and Instagrammers, and you could have sold it to them. At this moment in time, it may have some resale, $20. I don't think it's worth putting your money and your efforts into it. I'll give you the top pieces in a second once we've gone through it all. The pants, no, too high of a retail. The short sleeve work shirt, some people are liking it. I don't really personally think it's got much resale. If it does, again, the $20 range, but it's not really the thing to go for. Remember, Air Force Ones are meant to drop every Friday at 11 o'clock, both EU, UK, US. However, last week they didn't drop. Obviously, Easter Friday, they didn't drop. But technically speaking, you should load your tasks on the Friday for Air Force Ones just in case they do. Shorts, no, they've obviously got this stuff here. The hooded sweatshirt, the kind of brushstroke, I called it like an acid wash. Again, too much. People are liking the hand style hoodie. And again, though, it's maybe a $20 flip. Is it worth putting your money and effort into it? I have no idea. Thank you, Nova Creps, sir. Hooded sweatshirt, invert, no. Painted stripe, no. Repeat sweater, no. The signature label short sleeve top, maybe it's a t-shirt. It's coming up to summer. The pink's quite cool. The white's nice. Even the green's quite nice. But again, the design isn't that iconic. And let's face it, we're all waiting for BOGO week, aren't we? Come on. We've been getting teased about this. And Supreme, you're taking the mick now. We need that ASAP. Now, this is my personal piece of the week. And this is the long sleeve pocket tee. I love it in the green with the orange colorway. And also the black. I also quite like the pink. The white's quite nice. But you know that I like long sleeve tops, right? I love long sleeve tops. I think they're just easy to wear at home. I love the little pocket. I'm really liking the antler style. I don't really like the font going down the sleeve, but it's not too bad. I don't think the design is so bad that I can't wear it. I like the logo at the back. I am going to go for a couple of these. If I could hit the green and the black, I'd be happy. Will it have resale? Let me put it this way. I'm someone who will buy that for personal as a long sleeve sort of fan. But if I don't hit it, I wouldn't buy it off of you for resale. That's just the way it is. I'd go for the black and the green. I think the green is the nicest color of the week. I really, really do. But again, I'm a customer of that. I wouldn't personally buy that for retail. It just wouldn't cross my mind. So, you know, take that as you want. But again, there isn't much this week. I think the item that you should be going for, if you're going for any item whatsoever, it is the marathon clock. The marathon clock is the one, the sleeper of the week, shall we call it, the one with the most profit, the one with the most percentage of return. Anything else would be a personal. Long sleeve top, short sleeve top, whatever. If you want the fleece, maybe, but it's summer here in the UK. I'm wearing this today because it is quite chilly out, but I'm still quite hot sitting here. But, you know, honestly, I think we just need to come together and try and tell Supreme, give us a good week, please. But let's say, for instance, you do want to go for this clock. It's quite a cool accessory piece. I think it will resell. I think there will be people in the market for this straight afterwards because it is a cool piece. And again, it goes well on a desk or anything like that. It's easy to kind of furnish in your house or whatever. Yeah. So let's say we're going to set up this task. We're going to look at task setup now. Remember, with Supreme, everything is 1 per person. So the quantity is always 1. There are some items that drop that allow you to have multiple of that item. This isn't one of them. You can only go for 1. So you do 1. Size, because there is no size, just keep it as random. SwiftSole will pick that up. Color, of course, it will have red, or you can go for random. It's going to be very rare that Supreme don't put this as red. So put in red, you're going to be fine. If you really want to like hedge your bets, just do random. If you're like, oh, what if they play around with colors, which they sometimes do. Profile. All right. So when it comes to profile, for anyone that's new with botting Supreme, basically, even if you're not botting and you're doing this manually, you can only get 1 piece per profile. And what I mean by that is Supreme won't let you buy the same piece with the same name, even if the address is different. Or let's say you change your name on the order and you keep the same address, they won't allow it. Street line needs to be different, your cards need to be different, and so do your emails. Everything needs to be unique. For instance, if profile number 1 for me was John Smith, I couldn't use that name on profile number 2. Now, technically speaking, they can sometimes be quite lenient with names because a John Smith, for instance, there might be 5 of those. But to be on the safe side, you're better off using totally different names. Go for people in your household or a name similar to me. So for instance, if I had John, John, I might on the second profile put Jon, and I could still use the same surname if I wanted to at that point because something's different in my name now. And let's say I lived on 123 Buckingham Palace. You do that, let's say, for profile 1. For profile 2, you do 123 Bucks Palace or 123 Buckingham Place. You're just starting to play around with the words so it still looks like your address for your delivery company because you don't want them losing the parcel or saying they couldn't deliver it or sending it back. But you're just changing it, what we call jigging it enough so that Supreme doesn't see it as the same person checking out twice. Simple. Cards need to be totally separate and so do emails. Now, of course, if you are going for separate items, you can use the same profile for separate stuff. This is going for the same item. Even if the item is a different color. For instance, if I want this green shirt and the black one, I'm going to need separate profiles for those because Supreme sees that as me going for a duplicate item, even though it's a different color. They still don't allow it. Some items they sometimes do though, so sometimes they do, but don't run the risk, just to make sure. So we do that with profiles, capture mode. Now, I've got 2 different settings there. I have Capture Harvester and I have AYCD. That's because I have premium. You can sign up to premium if you want down below. It's $5.99 a month, dollars. And after the Supreme season is over, you can then, it automatically pauses. You can cancel at any time, but it does automatically pause once the Supreme season's over. Now, what I would recommend that you do is if you've been thinking about getting premium and trying AYCD or something like that and some of the different settings, this is the week to do it. The reason being is because it doesn't really matter if you don't hit anything, you're not losing out on loads of profit. And too many people wait until the big hype drop to look at different setups, to look at trying to use AYCD and all of this stuff. Never going to work. You need to master that well before a hype drop, because otherwise you're going to be rushing, you're going to be scrambling. This is the time to test some stuff out. So AYCD is basically an auto-solving service. What you do, or what Supreme does in any other sites, is they use something called a Captcha in order to figure out whether they think you're a human or not. Now, if they think you're a bot, the way they have bot protection, or one of the ways, is via those Captcha boxes. Like when it says pick a taxi and you've got to pick a few, press verify. Now, what will happen sometimes is if you've got a Gmail account associated in the browser that you're using, so you're logged into a Gmail account, which it happens on Chrome, what will happen is that the website can see you are a human because you've got activity on that Gmail account. Think about watching YouTube, think about going and looking at your emails, surfing the internet, whatever it is, yeah? Now, what will happen is you'll get something called a one-click. A one-click means you don't get any captures, or it asks for a capture. It goes, oh, he's fine. I'm moving him through, or she's fine. Let's move him through. Let's not give him any captures. They have an invisible one-click. Now, what you can do inside of the bot is log into a Gmail account, and I'll show you this in a second, where if you have got some one-clicks, great, it will use that. However, there is a maximum number of one-clicks per email. Some people will say 5, some people will say 10. It's very much up in the air. It depends on your trust score in regards to that email account. Now, this is where AYCD comes in. Because what this is a third-party program that will be somewhere else on a computer. You can load in loads of one-click Gmails as long as you've got them. You can purchase them even. There's some services that sell them. And that will send the one-clicks to SwiftSole via something called a token and a key in your settings. Okay? Now, what this will do is enable you to not even have to touch Captcha. Simply as I put AYCD. Once I start AYCD on my computer before the drop, I don't need to worry about it. It's going to do it automatically for me. I haven't got to touch Captchas at all. There might be some times where you use up your one-clicks. You may need to touch Captchas, but hopefully and ideally that doesn't happen because you've got enough one-clicks. All right. Now, it is quite complicated. It's a bit more advanced, but we do have a guide down in the description below. So do go there, have a look, and use that guide if you want to sign up to AYCD. Now, don't forget, AYCD is a third-party service. It's nothing to do with SwiftSole. So if you want to use that, you do have to purchase that separately. I believe it's $25 a month or something like that. Okay, but you can use it for other things. It's not just for SwiftSole. I use it for bot in Footlocker. I use it for bot in, obviously Supreme. But sometimes some Shopify, not always. Data Dome captures, all different stuff. All right, so you can use it. Someone asked, how would you do someone's actually helped with that. Well done, Toady. AV instead of AVE or Avenue or Avnew, N-E-W could also work sometimes. It's as simple as that. Cool. All right, so Captcha Harvester AYCD, we're going to put it in the actual Captcha Harvester mode. If you haven't got premium, I'll show you what you need to do to harvest captchas in a second. Task mode, just go for drop mode. Now, there is a feature on SwiftSole, which is PayPal checkout. PayPal checkout is basically where SwiftSole won't try to use your card. It will get you to log into PayPal and pay via that. This is good for if if Supreme's payment processor goes down, which sometimes it does, either 3DS or the whole payment processor, and people start getting payment errors. So what you can do is click that on just before you start running, sign into PayPal, then it will push to say PayPal's ready to be used and ready to pay, and you can pay via that. I would say maybe do 1 or 2 tasks PayPal, 1 or 2 tasks credit card, different profiles, of course, just to ensure that you're covering all bases just in case it goes down. Simple. And then go for manual, press save task, okay, and you will see that I now have on my task list what I'm going to be going for. It shows me the drop mode that I'm using. It shows me what size I'm going for, etc., etc. Now, let's say I've set that up. I'm ready to go. Couple of things I need to do before I start the drop. Press the plus sign. This is where everything is. So first and foremost, adding in a Gmail. I don't want to dox my Gmail, but basically, this is where you sign into a Gmail. So hopefully you get what we was talking about, and that was one-clicks. Now, what I then do, if I'm using PayPal, go right to the bottom and sign into PayPal. Only if I'm using PayPal. You don't need to do that if you're not and you're only using credit card for that week. Do that around 5 minutes before the drop, ready to go. So we've signed into our Gmail, we've signed into our PayPal. The next step is to get the Captcha Harvester open. We press Harvester, and captchas are ready to appear there if needed. So if we're not using AYCD, they will come up in that box right there. That's where we'll see those squares that we need to press. Okay? Really simple. And then when we're ready to go for the drop, around 1 minute before, press plus and start. And of course, if I did start now, it's not going to find it. It's waiting for the item, finding item, wait, because it's not been dropped yet. And hopefully it picks it up. There'll be a progress bar that goes along that tells you how far it is to check out. Now, same questions that we get every week. First and foremost, how do I stop getting payment errors? Payment errors, payment declines could be a number of things. It could be Supreme detecting a bot and that's SwiftSole. So you need to try again. They've got something called their ticket system, which is to try and detect bots. It could be high traffic errors. It could be too many people on the site. It could be a payment profile issue. There's so many different reasons why people get declined. It's not always SwiftSole. It is other bots that get declined as well. So just keep on running. You need to remember that there are thousands of people going for these drops every single week. And even if you went manually, got it in the cart, it was in stock, and you tried to pay, it will also give you errors most of the time for most people. So just keep on running. Even when it says out of stock, keep on running. Supreme have a tendency to restock up to maybe 30 minutes to an hour once they've dropped. So just keep it running. You never know. Some people get some late checkouts and they get shipped. I remember one of the North Face jackets, Nupsies, I hit a small for someone, a personal, I think 45 minutes after the initial. So they do restock quite often as well. Does this... Oh, God, Nova Creps. Listen, mate. I was about to answer that question. I can't believe it. Anyway, then once you've done that, you're ready to go. Now, another feature that you've got, if you've got premium, and this is a good week for this, I'm going to do this tomorrow. So let's say I've got the clock. I'm going to create a task. And I want to go for my long sleeve. So I'm going to go for medium because that's my size. I love being a medium, by the way. And I'll explain why in a second. No, I'd go for the teal. Sudo, cool. I'm going to save that. Task created. Now, because it's not much of a hype week, I'm going to risk my chances of getting a multi-cart, which means they will be done in the same checkout, which therefore means I'm going to save on shipping. And this is a premium feature again. So I press plus, I go multi-cart, and all I do is I pick one of those. Let's say I pick cart AAD, and I just drag it to the other cart there. Now it's one cart. You can see, that way, you can see that it's only got one cart name. So SwiftSole will go to one of them, add it to the cart, then go to the other one, add it to the cart. Just don't do this on hype drops, because by the time you've done all that, it is probably out of stock. Okay? So I'm going to risk that tomorrow, because again, I don't mind too much if I don't hit. All right? The bot in EU still won't work on initial drop. I only cop like 5 minutes later onwards restock. When's the big update to sort this? Liam, there's been people, if you look at the checkout logs, people hit initially in the EU. If it's just you, and not just you, if there's a few people getting that error, which there are, it's just high traffic, mate. But people hit initially on SwiftSole. You see it in the checkout logs. It's just a lot of people going for it. A lot of people. But saying that, every time I bot Supreme, whether it's with SwiftSole or another bot, I 99% of the time do not hit on initial. If you look at my live cops, you will see even when I hit hype stuff, it's much later into the drop. It's just Supreme because they have a high amount of traffic, all trying to get there at once, manual users and bot users. Then by the time people have seen it sold out, the manual users tap out. Now it's just us bots left and we can kind of take stock, hopefully. It doesn't matter as I just got 15 pairs of deals. God, Nova. God, Nova. This is why you're blocked, sir. Anyway. So yeah, when you think that, oh, I don't hit initial, it's not just like, it's not SwiftSole, okay? And people do still hit initially. There are some people that do. That's not a problem, Liam. No, just keep on running. It doesn't matter if you hit initial or 5 minutes in. Who cares? Just keep running. There's no proxies in SwiftSole or data or whatever. Like, just keep running, sir, and you'll hit. You'll be fine. Even when it's non-hype drops, it's hard to hit straight away because their ticket system's so high. And then at some point they go, do you know what? Take down anti-bot. Let's just... whatever, we don't need it anymore. The hype's kind of gone in a sense. Simple. All right. That's the multi-cart. So when it comes to Supreme, and when we're looking at, let's say you go, Josh, I want to go for something that might have a bit of resale. I think the long sleeves might have resale. Like, this is what you think and you say to me. So I want to go for that. What should I do? What sizes should I go for? What's the hardest ones to hit, etc., etc.? So first and foremost, it will be XL is the hardest to hit. No, sorry, small. Yeah, small, XL, large, and medium. Now, double XL, if they drop it, and again, SwiftSole does have the option for double XL, but it doesn't mean they're going to drop double XL. They did drop some summer tees in double XL in the end, by the way. But this is now where you might want to pick, maybe go for a small. That's going to mainly have the most resale. then extra large, then large, and then mediums last. I love being a medium because it means it has no resale most of the time. There's loads of stock on it, and I can even manual it most of the time for my personals. Now, some other questions that we get, virtual cards. So what card is best to use? First and foremost, your high street banks are not good to use. The reason being is because of something called 3DS inside of the EU. 3DS is a payment verification, again, a security verification to make sure it's you using your card, and this is something that's legally needed on any transaction, all right? The problem with some banks is if they believe or if they think that this person may not be the person they are, they want to do, I don't know, some form of verification, they'll send you a text message with a code, you've missed out. And there's no function like every other bot to put that code inside of SwiftSole. So the best cards to use are going to be your virtual cards. Generally speaking, the ones out there are Revolut, Monzo, Soldo, iCard. They're the 4 main ones. Oh, and Curve. Sometimes some of these providers go down and they don't work. Like last week, I had issues with Revolut where I didn't have that before. So bear that in mind. Diversify your cards as well. If you're in the US, generally speaking, Amex is fine. Privacy is been said to be sort of clipped on it, so maybe don't go for privacy. Cool. Best places to sell. Generally speaking, Supreme now is not really a StockX sell unless it's a very hype piece or later on, say 6 months, 12 months later, an iconic piece, not none of these. The best places to sell now or to look for in order to sell is Depop, Grailed, Facebook Marketplace. Facebook groups is mainly where I sell my stuff. Find a good Supreme group, sell it in there. Simple as that. Desktop update. People asking about that. There will be an update soon, I do promise you. I know that SwiftSole put out a form in regards to trying to see who wants first access, so that will come soon. And then lastly, we recommend going on broadband, not 5G/data. Even though the speed of 5G and data is sometimes, especially if you live where I live in London, even though that speed is faster than your broadband 9 times out of 10 is going to have a faster ping time, and it's the ping time that you need. The ping to get to the website to start that task so you're first to check out. That is more important at this point than it is of speed. I'm going for the clock. How much should I have in my bank account? At least, basically, how much would it cost to be for 1 clock and shipping? Yes, good question. Listen, I always ask the same to myself. I just go with to make sure that I've got enough. So if the clock, let's find it. If the clock says here $48, I'll put in £50 plus another tenner. I'll just put 60 quid in. And I know it's going to cover it and I can just bring it back out. Simple. It will be, or it should be, less expensive than that. But the last thing you want is declines because you haven't got enough money in the accounts. So I always say round up, put that in pounds, add in another 10. Simple. And then that will be enough most of the time. Cool. Nice. All right, guys. Any other questions that you got, please put them down below. Do not forget that in the description, we've also got all the comprehensive guides. Make sure you do join the Discord. And we've got support workers in there. They're absolutely amazing. They're always helping with tickets, helping you guys out during drop time, everything. And I'll be in there just before the drop as we do. No problem, Dan. Listen, guys, I hope we soon see some better drops from Supreme. BOGOs are coming. And we've seen some sneak peeks of them, and they are looking absolutely sick. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be hard, but I'm sure a load of you will hit. Good luck tomorrow if you are going for the clock, if you're going for the long sleeve t-shirt, or whatever, even the fishing rod. I mean, really good luck if you're going for that. But good luck if you're going for any of the stuff tomorrow. Do let us know what you hit. Make sure to post in success. Tag us on Twitter if you do hit. And again, don't be frustrated if you don't. This is the time to set some setup. Simple. I'm going for a drink, Josh. Do you or Mr. Producer want one? Yes, please, sir. I'll have a whiskey, thank you. Being a size small is a pain in the arse. I know, Liam. I absolutely know, I bet. Some of the stuff I would wear in a small because some of it's really oversized. I remember a t-shirt I got, I would have got a small because of how oversized it was. And I'm never going for small unless it's for resale, not for me. Anyway, listen, guys, thank you so much for allowing us to have your attention. Good luck tomorrow if you are running, and let me know what you hit. As always, I've been a LuckyBotter, and be lucky.